What happens when the biggest economies in the world all decide to pull back at the same time?
President Trump has insisted that his implementation of new global tariffs is going very well.
The United States is putting up tariffs.
My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day.
Canada tightening its budget.
Today I'm announcing that the government of Canada will be responding by matching the US approach.
China trade flow is being disrupted.
Tariff hikes by the US violate WTO rules, harm the common interests of people of all countries, and do not help solve the problems of the US itself.
And for the first time in modern history, we are watching global superpowers rewind decades of economic cooperation all at once.
President Trump's announcement of universal tariffs on the whole world, including the European Union, is a major blow.
And this isn't just politics, guys. This is an economic experiment, the likes we've never seen before. And if it works, maybe these countries regain control over their industries and budget. But if it fails, we could all be facing higher prices, fewer jobs, and another global recession. And here's the scary part. Nobody knows how this is going to end.
We are taking a calm approach, acting in the national interest.
In this video, I'll be breaking down exactly what's happening, why it matters, and how it could impact you, your jobs, your bills, your investment. So stick around, because what's unfolding right now might be the most dangerous economic experiment of our time, and you deserve to understand it. Real quick, if you're new here, my name is Chika, and I make these videos to help you understand money the way the rich does, so you can start building your very own version of financial freedom. So if that sounds like something you are interested in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because every week on Wednesdays and Sundays, I break down money, financial market, and how to protect your wealth. Now, let's get into it. To fully understand how risky this experiment is, we need to look back in history. In the 1930s, the United States passed something called the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. It raised taxes on goods coming from other countries. The goal was to protect American jobs during a recession. But instead of helping, it backfired badly. Other countries retaliated with tariffs of their own. Global trades collapsed by 65%, and what started as a recession turned into the Great Depression. Millions of jobs lost. Businesses shut down. People lost homes, savings, and hope. Back then, the world wasn't nearly as connected as it is today. Countries were more self-sufficient. Today, however, supply chains stretches across the globe. Cars built in America rely on parts from Mexico, China, and Canada. Food, electronics, and even medicine, every part of the world depend on trade more than ever before. So, if trade breaking down in the 1930s caused a worldwide crisis, imagine what could happen when the system is way more complicated. That's why this isn't just a trade issue, it's a massive high-stakes economic experiment, and the risks are getting higher than most people realize. Let's talk about what's actually happening today. The United States is proposing new tariffs on countries it normally trades billions of dollars with, like Canada, Mexico, China, and these aren't small deals, right? See, the US-Canada trade relationship alone is worth over $700 billion a year. These new tariffs would impact everything from food and oil to car parts and electronics. While the goal is to protect US industry, it could seriously raise prices for the average American. This is an example of protectionism, when a country uses tariff or trade barriers to give its own industry a competitive edge over foreign ones. The idea usually is to help local businesses, but it often ends up making everyday goods more expensive. At the same time, countries like Canada are cutting public spending. This means less money for services, jobs, and programs. This is called austerity, when a government reduces spending to control its national debt, often by limiting public services. So, what's the problem here? When you mix protectionism and austerity, you get a 2-for-1 punch to the economy. Tariffs, well, make things more expensive for consumers, reducing how much they can buy. At the same time, austerity means governments are spending less. So there's less money flowing in the economy from public services, wages, and projects. Together, these two strategies can slow everything down. Consumer demands drop, businesses struggle, people lose jobs, and in the worst case, it can even trigger a prolonged recession where the economy shrinks, unemployment rises, and recovery could take years. It is a very risky combination, and we are watching it unfold in real time. Oh, and remember, this isn't happening in isolation. Global supply chains are already under pressure from past trade wars, the pandemic, and geopolitical tensions. So every new disruption adds stress to a system already stretched thin. What we are seeing is a slow motion attempt to rebuild local economies by pulling away from global trade. By doing that in a world that is more connected than ever, it could lead to some serious unintended consequences. Now, let's clear up some misconceptions about tariffs. A tariff is simply a tax on goods brought in from other countries. Government often use them to protect local businesses, respond to unfair trade practices, and negotiate better deals. That's the theory, right? But in practice, tariffs don't hurt foreign economies, they hurt you. When the prices of imported goods go up, it's the consumers who end up paying more at the stores, whether it's phones, clothes, or groceries. Tariffs act like an extra sales tax on everyday life. Some people have argued that tariffs could be used to fix America's debt problem. But here's the math. The US is over 36 trillion in debt and runs a deficit of 1.8 trillion every year. So even if America taxed every import from China, Canada, and Mexico at a high rate for a decade, it wouldn't even pay for 1 year of that deficit. Even worse, tariffs can slow down the economy. Higher prices means everyday people buy less, businesses earn less, growth stalls, and that means the government collects less tax revenues, not more. And there's this popular myth that if tariffs are high enough, they could eventually get rid of income tax altogether. Sounds great. No more deduction from your paycheck, right? But again, it doesn't really work that way, does it? Tariffs raise the cost of goods for everyone. And unlike income tax, they hit low-income households the hardest. Tariffs are regressive. They are not fair. That's why nearly 90% of economists agree that free trade helps more than it hurts. It keeps goods affordable, supports competition, and boosts overall growth. So no, tariffs won't fix the debt. They won't replace income taxes. And if used carelessly, they can do real damage to your wallet and to the economy as a whole. If all this sounds overwhelming, that's because it is. You can't control what world governments decide to do, but you can take steps to protect yourself and your future. And here's what that step might look like. Number 1, stay liquid and lean. Cash is underrated, especially in terms of uncertainty. Build up an emergency fund that can last you for about 3 to 6 months of your essential expenses. Avoid taking unnecessary debts. The fewer financial obligations you have, the more freedom you maintain if things go south. And number 2, don't overcommit to one investment type. Diversification isn't just a buzzword, it's survival. If you have all your money in stocks or even in one sector, you are overexposed. Spread your investment across different asset classes: stocks, Bitcoin, real estate, bond, or even short-term cash equivalents. That way, you are not depending on one outcome to stay financially afloat. 3, prepare for long inflation. If tariffs rise and global trade slows, prices will likely go up. Not overnight, but slowly and across the board. So make sure that your long-term income sources like your jobs, businesses, or investment are positioned to outpace inflation over time. Number 4, be cautious of safe haven hike. Gold, crypto, and anti-dollar asset will always attract attention during these times. But be careful. This asset can be more volatile than the problem they are supposed to protect you from. If you want to own some, fine. I own as well, but just don't overdo it. Number 5, focus on skills, not just stocks, right? One of the best hedges against economic downturn is you. Invest in learning skills that will stay in demand regardless of what happens. Skills like cybersecurity, AI, healthcare, or trade. Skill set flexibility beats market timing every time. Remember, you don't need to predict what happens next. You just need to be resilient when it happens. And here are my final thoughts. We're living through one of the most unpredictable economic moments in modern history. Major nations are rethinking trade, cutting spending, and shaking up the system that supported global stability for decades. No one knows exactly how this experiment will end, but history tells us one thing: it won't be without consequences. The good news: you don't need to have all the answers, you just need to be prepared. Understand what's going on, stay flexible, keep your finances and your mindset resilient, because in the end, the people who thrive in times like this aren't those who panic. They are the ones who stay informed and act with intentions. So, what do you think? Do you think tariffs and spending cuts will help or hurt the economy? Let me know in the comment below. And if you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. I break down money, financial markets, and how to protect your wealth every Wednesday and Sundays to help you make smarter financial decisions with your money and your future. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.